Okay, yeah, hold on.
Yo, this is lit.
Okay. So you got the name of the channel, right?
Oh yeah, I see it. I see it.
Oh yeah, let's go. Okay, welcome to the Debate Debate. Hope you all are doing well. Today I'm joined by, what would you like to be called?
You can call me by my first name.
Alright, Tyler,
No,
and...
my first name is Shane. First,
okay. Okay, yeah, Shane and Bryan.
And Bryan. Yeah, my name's Bryan. Bryan Williams.
Yep. And today we're going to be doing a political debate. I'm gonna be hosting this, but we are gonna get started. All right. Question for you guys: should corporate money be in politics?
You want to start off with this one, Shane?
okay, sure, I'm ready. Okay. No, corporate money should not be in politics. It influences politicians. It corrupts them. It turns them into not representatives of corporations, their corporate donors, and makes them not serve the people.
Okay. What I'm gonna say to that is, corporate money should be used in politics. Um, for people that have per se are in underprivileged neighborhoods and need that quick start of money to get into a position where they can spread their opinion to other people, corporate money can give them that kickstart to get into that position. So I think it can really be beneficial. Um, while corporate money has really been taken into a way of, it's been looked at by negative because of corrupt politicians who have used that corporate money and used it to change their views, or used it to say, oh yeah, I'll take a little bit more of that money and I'll change my views, I'll switch my sides. That. So I think it should be used in politics, but it's got to be a little moderated almost.
Can you name a politician who has taken the money and not changed their views? I bet you can't.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be changed, but it still needs to be used.
Okay, so, and you just argued that it helps in minority and poor neighborhoods?
Yeah.
I have $10 billion, and I'm bribing the politicians so they don't do tax cuts on the rich. I'm helping them, right?
Well, bribing is a different thing than supporting their campaign.
Okay. Supporting a campaign with corporate money is legalized bribery. I'm going to say that right now. It's
well, that's
legalized bribery. So,
that's your opinion, and that's incorrect in my opinion.
okay, it's incorrect. Okay, so the Supreme Court ruled that money is speaking. So if I give you $5, it's the same thing as me saying hello. That is absurd.
That's not my beliefs. I guess that's your beliefs. Is that?
Okay.
Depends on perspective, of course.
Right. So, okay.
We're gonna be moving on to the next question here. Alright. Fuck me, dude. I can't stop watching this damn Minecraft. Fuck. Okay. Fuck me, dude. Okay. Does corporate money ever hurt people?
Yes. It has hurt people multiple times. For example, it doesn't have to hurt people physically for it to hurt people. Bryan, would you agree that America is a democracy?
You know what? America is a democracy.
Okay. So, would you agree that, do you have any objections to background checks on guns, personally?
I have zero objections to that.
Okay. So, every poll you look at, for example, a poll on time.com says 97% of Americans would like gun control or background checks in some form. So, in a democracy, if 97% of people want something, shouldn't they get it? If you say that America is a democracy, so we should ignore 97% of the population of America.
I did not say that unless you believe
Okay.
that.
Mitch McConnell has taken $1.2 million from the NRA and has not allowed a single vote on gun legislation of any kind. Does that affect the fact that this is a democracy?
That affects his way of democracy.
Okay.
He's a
So
corrupt
is he being
politician.
corrupt? Okay. So you admit that. Okay. And another way it could hurt people is Wall Street gave Barack Obama's campaign a lot of money. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
They ended up picking almost his entire cabinet except for one person. The people in his cabinet were bankers who did not represent people. They represented corporations directly in the government. That could directly hurt people. And his Treasury Secretary famously did not want to prosecute a single banker who did anything wrong. However, if someone was caught with marijuana, they would most likely be prosecuted and sent to jail. Why should a banker be held to a different standard due to the corporate money? Do you think that is fair?
I do not think that is fair.
Okay.
I'm now going to propose my points as a rebuttal to Shane's very, very kind and very good argument. I'm going to say that if 97% of the people agree on something, it should be done. I also agree on that. But corrupt politicians are what makes things get done. America is a democracy, but one bad egg in the bunch ruins it for everybody. One bad egg doesn't mean it's not a basket of eggs. It's still a basket of eggs, even if there is one that is not good. Corrupt politicians make it so it looks like the general whole people is bad, even though it's not. And then it gets put on the news and publicized for everybody to see in a nice, pretty package that looks like everything's there. I looked at your documents here. They are very reliable and say 97% of the people, but I would like them to, go into those politicians and say, why didn't you do it? Well, what's wrong here? And then they're going to basically say, I'm corrupt. If they're being honest, if they are an oath and are talking the truth, they're going to say I'm corrupt. And those that are actually taking change in America for the 97% of the people that want background checks are going to be not corrupt. But that doesn't mean they didn't take corporate money. They could take corporate money and still not hurt the people. Corporate money can hurt the people, but it's depending on if the politician is corrupt or not, which makes it hurt or not.
Very good points. We're going to be moving on to the next question here. Does it influence the votes for politicians?
Yes, it does. It influences the votes in many ways. It also influences what they bring up to be voted on. Like I stated before, Mitch McConnell took $1.2 million from the NRA, and he never brought up a vote on gun regulation. There are polls that show support for some form of single-payer healthcare system or some kind of government healthcare system. In both the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, and the Independence Party show a majority of Americans support that in some form. However, Nancy Pelosi has taken hundreds of millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry and has never proposed a vote on any form of that at all. She has ignored what a majority of the Democrats want, a majority of what the Republicans want, and a majority of what independents want as Speaker of the House. That money has corrupted her, and she has refused to acknowledge what the people want.
Okay. I think it does influence the votes of politicians. Only if the politician is corrupt. It can start out where the corporate money is good. It starts to get them into that position, but then they get a little greedy, and they say it's easy money, easy way to get more money. And then they start getting into, I can change my opinion, get a little more. I can do this, get a little more. And then they start getting corrupt. And that's what kind of sparks that flame. Corporate money itself doesn't mean they're corrupt. But when they start saying, I can just get more from corrupt, then they start doing that. It kind of, they just want a little more, a little more, a little more. And then they keep climbing up that shelf. And, I'll take some sponsorships here and then change my opinions, change sides, do this, do that. So it does influence the votes of politicians. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
But okay, let's say this. You say that it doesn't if they're corrupt. Name a single politician that does take corporate money that is not completely corrupt on either the Democratic side or the Republican side. Name one that takes a lot of corporate money and is not corrupt. Because I challenge you to find one.
Well, you've got two things. What is a lot of corporate money? Is that $1 million? Is that $10 million? And what is corrupt? Anybody can be corrupt. Bernie Sanders didn't take a single penny of corporate money, yet he has arguments saying he's corrupt. So it's not like they go hand in hand. It's not like there's one, there's the other.
Okay. Yes, but corporate money can corrupt the politician. And it has in most cases. I will give an exception to one Republican Senator, Josh Hawley in Missouri, who has not changed a single thing of his values. But he is the exception to the most Republicans and most Democrats who have taken corporate money. I can only name one off the top of my head who has not changed his views. And I have an extensive knowledge of Congress and most of the politicians there, and I cannot think of a single one. And neither can you, besides the one I just mentioned.
Then I commend Mr. Hawley for being the one, the only that actually took corporate money for what it should be. So basically, you just said corporate money can be used properly.
By one senator out of 100.
Well, then he's doing it right. So then it can be used properly. It shows that it can be. Even though most people just become corrupt, there's a way, and he has demonstrated that perfectly.
The problem is it isn't being used properly. So if we
recognize that. But you're saying all corporate money should be eliminated. But one example right there you just provided in your own evidence says that it can be used properly.
I did provide my own evidence. However, he's a freshman senator. We have no idea what will happen in the rest of his career.
But is he corrupt right now? Do you think he's corrupt in your own opinion?
I think he went into Congress, into the Senate as an economic populist, and he stayed an economic populist.
Well, then that shows he's not changing his side like most people do, and shows he's showing anti-corruption signs.
Okay, that's one politician. That's one politician. And if you can find a second one, I'd like you to. But a lot of these people are career politicians who've been there 30, 40, 50 years, some of them, and they don't change, and they continue to get more corrupt.
Well, then they need to change. I understand. People are taking advantage of corporate money and using it as an easy out to get money and change their views. But
do you believe money is speech?
Money can be speech, but money is not power.
I think we should move on to the next question.
Very well.
All right. Okay. Does it mean that corporations do not represent the people and wait, never mind. Politicians represent the people and they represent their corporate donors?
Yes, it means that if you take money from corporate donors and you prioritize them over your constituents, the people who voted for you, and you could see them as constituents, you are not serving your people. You are a representative. You are there to represent the people. You are not there to represent ExxonMobil. You are not there to represent the pharmaceutical industry. You are not there to represent the credit card industry. You are there to represent the voters who put their faith in you and sent you there. They're the reason that you're there. You need to represent them. You're not. You're representing the corporations because they pay you, because they bribe you. And America is the only country, one of the few countries that does allow this. In Canada, we never hear about corporate money being involved because it is not involved, at least not to the extent it is here. And they do not have a corrupt government.
Oh, okay. So, we have some issues there. Canada has zero corruption in the government. Is that what you just told me?
I said they do not have a corrupt government to the extent the U.S. does.
Well, no.
Is what I meant to say. Is what I meant to say. Okay, I did not. That is what I meant to say. So that is the record for what I am saying.
Okay. To the extent we will disregard some of the points you made there. Then,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, to the question, does that mean politicians do not represent the people and represent corporate donors? No. Accepting corporate money doesn't mean you're accepting the companies. It's the corruption that means you represent the companies. It's taking that money and saying, well, if I do this, I can get a little more money. Getting that kickstart, we'll give you a little more if you do this. There's just a little greed there. They're taking that greed and they're using that to get a little more because corruption. And even Hawley, as you provided again, and you even said yourself that you do not believe he's corrupt, at least in his current stance. So Hawley accepted corporate money. He's not corrupt, as we both agreed on at the current moment. So he works for the people. He doesn't work for the corporate donors. He's representing his opinion in an independent way. He's kept his sides. He's stayed with it, and he's showing that.
Okay, let me give a specific example of how someone can become corrupted by the money. For example, Hillary Clinton. She ran for president in 2016. She was she was the senator for New York, and she was the first lady when Bill Clinton was the president. So, when she was the first lady, this was at a time when Senator Elizabeth Warren was still a bankruptcy professor who was testifying in front of Congress. Joe Biden had a bankruptcy bill that was backed by NBNA and multiple credit card industries that would hurt consumers and regular people. And what happened was Elizabeth Warren had lunch with Hillary Clinton and explained the issues with the bill. Hillary Clinton convinced her husband to veto the bill. Then Hillary Clinton becomes a senator. She starts taking money for NBNA. She starts taking money from the credit card agencies. She has said in the past she sees them as a constituency. And then when the bill came up for a vote, she voted for that bill. That's pure corruption. And that's very common in the political world, especially on the federal level. On the state level, there's less corruption, but on the federal level, we have a lot of corruption.
Okay. Well, my point is not that corruption doesn't exist. I understand corruption exists, and your example of Hillary Clinton was very good. I recognize that. It shows perfectly how corporate money can be used improperly and demonstrates how it can be abused and twisted into something wicked. It needs to change. It really does, and that shows it again how somebody can change their views just because of corporate money and misusing it the way it's not intended. It needs to change. Even if nobody's doing it, even if one person is doing it, it needs to change. More people need to do it, or people need to actually do it. 0 to 1, even if just 1, 0 to 2. More people need to do it, even if they're not. They need to change and use corporate money properly, whether it's hard. Whether it can be done. It doesn't need to be moved entirely because it can get you in that position faster than just taking people's money can be. It can use corporate money to give yourself a jump start into a position where you can be in office faster.
If you speak for the people, you do not need corporate money. Senator Bernie Sanders did raise a significant amount of money without corporate money. Senator Elizabeth Warren raised a significant amount of money without corporate money. It's not impossible, and it can be done. So there are ways to avoid using corporate money.
Yes, I'm not denying that either. But can you deny that using corporate money makes you get into a position faster and easier? But corruption.
The easy way is not always the best way.
I didn't say it was a worse way. It's changing your opinions is what's inferior.
Okay. So, a majority of the Senate is corrupt. A majority of Congress is corrupt.
Yeah.
And corporate money is the problem for all of their corruption.
In your opinion.
Okay. So, I just gave several examples.
Yeah. And it shows how corporate money was misused.
but all of them partake in corporate money. And I have an extensive knowledge, like I said, of of most of the senators, most of the Congress people, and I was only able to think of one who took corporate money who did not change their views.
Okay.
Why is that?
Just because there's too much corruption. It needs to change. And I'm trying to advocate for change, and you're blocking me down and saying we just need to take it out completely. Rather than fixing and reforming what we have, you want to completely remove it from the equation.
Because, okay, we did not always have this. We had this after 1978. We did not always have this. Yes, they do, and they can change again.
It changed for the worse.
So, do you think the political system could survive? You're saying that you need corporate money in the political system, otherwise the political system...
You don't need it. Bernie Sanders is a perfect example of somebody that doesn't need corporate money, yet still has corruption in some places.
You keep saying Bernie Sanders has corruption. Name something that he did that was corrupt, please.
Bernie Sanders is showing a little bit of corruption going off of his economist deals and the way he wants to run this government with just there's so many things I don't have with me right now for evidence, but the way he's going to run if he was in office, which of course he's not running, shows he was going to make into a corrupt madhouse.
That's opinion.
This whole what do you mean? This whole thing is opinion.
Okay. A corrupt man. Okay, that's a pure opinion because you did not state any evidence. You did not state any facts. You didn't even state any examples. But anyway,
I just said I don't have the examples on hand.
Okay, then you cannot use the argument.
Okay. Sure.
And I would even go as far as to take all the union money out and all the corporate money. You don't need either one to have a good political system. You can have a perfectly fine political system. You could even use democracy dollars, which would be a publicly financed election in which each person is given an account with a certain amount of money, and they're allowed to donate to the campaigns they like. That's democracy dollars. And that is a perfectly fine way to publicly finance an election. And then you have individual donation. You don't need the corporate money. We can have free and fair elections without it.
Okay. I agree with that as well. It's not needed, but it does have its benefits.
Brad, would you take a look at the, is there anyone still watching to take a look at the chat?
The chat was blank last I looked.
Okay. Are there any viewers still currently watching?
Hello, Brad. I think he might have taken a bathroom break.
Okay, are there any viewers still currently watching?
Yeah, let me check. Hold on.
Because we'd like to open it up to questions if there are viewers still watching.
Not that I can see. It says started 23 minutes ago, but nobody. So, no, I do not see anybody.
Because there were 2 viewers when I started, okay.
You can check for yourself. When I checked, I saw 0. Hey Brad, you there? I heard his chair, but he's not moving or talking at least.
Give me 1 second. Do you have any closing statements?
You can say yours first.
Okay. I made my positions very clear, and I think that corporate money needs to be out of politics. I think union money needs to be out of politics. I think PACs and super PACs need to go. And everyone watching this debate, either now or after it airs, should check out wolf-pack.com and sign up to get the money.
Okay. My closing argument is corporate money can be used properly. It needs to change to be used properly to help underprivileged people get into office. So that is my closing argument.
Alrighty, so we're gonna be moving on to the next question here.
We just finished off. Thank you,
you
Brad.
Oh, you just finished off? Nice.
Okay, so everyone check out the show. This is the show, Kerberos Roundtable Discussions.
Kerberos Roundtable Discussions. Peep that shit, dude. It's so good.